Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Open for Business. And you know what? So it's like old home week here in the studio because I've got this beautiful young lady right in front of me that we've known for a long time, Jennifer Torres. And you know what? You have really jumped into a whole different genre here.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what you used to do, but cigars.
I know. I love it.
And it's
I
like
love it.
you brought crack to me.
Oh, wow.
Just saying.
I have maybe had somebody accuse me of being a crack dealer before, but I don't have that kind of income. I got out of drama is what I did.
Yeah.
And I got into something that is no drama. So, are you passionate about cigars? I like cigars.
I like cigars.
There are women who like cigars.
Yes.
About 40% of my market. But
Really?
it's just no drama. Yeah.
40%.
Yeah,
I would have not said, I would have not thought it was that high.
Yeah, it's not always ladies buying something for their husband kind of
Right.
thing. There are way too many types of people out there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
cigars are something that people understand that it's that moment that you have to take to relax. And everybody really needs that
Right.
now. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, let's okay, you got to let me know the adventure here because there's got to be an adventure. And then we're going to go over what she brought because what she brought in here, I'm like, we had a client just left. And he goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, you know, I'm like, I know, you want one."
He's super nice.
He was a great guy.
We'll go see him.
So let's talk about the adventure here.
Well, the adventure started with my husband and I wandering around a flea market, and we came across a gentleman named Carlos Padron, no joke. And he is English, not so bueno. My husband is bilingual. He's
Okay.
from Puerto Rico. So we struck up this conversation, and the cigars were fresh, and they were lovely, and they're unbanded
Yeah.
Tampa Bay fresh cigars.
Right.
And so we're like, oh, this is the best cigar I've ever had. And so we go back to see him and back to see him. And then we got to know his story. He became family. We had him at our wedding. He rolled the cigars at our wedding.
Really?
Yeah, I got married a little over 5 years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I guess you haven't even met this guy.
No.
He's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He supports me in whatever I choose to do.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
I was still doing the whole media thing.
Yeah.
And I had this podcast, and I was doing 5 days a week, hour a day, which actually works out to like 6 to 8 hours a day
Yes.
for minimal money.
Yep.
And decided that I wanted to introduce a cigar as a promotion for the show.
Right.
So it was the Torres Torpedo. And I created a band, and it's me riding a rocket,
Yeah.
which is the Torpedo cigar.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty groovy.
Yeah.
And
I got it in my mind. I'm like, oh, hey.
I'll show you pictures sometime. So the cigar was a promotion, and it was just to raise funds for to cover the costs of doing podcasts and so on and so forth, travel
Right.
and things that I did. And it was all, news, current events, that sort of thing. And then I had, within a pretty short amount of time, 13 other hosts that came to me and said, we want our own promotional cigar.
Right.
I want a cigar too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, well, okay. So I realized that I was having way more fun selling the cigars, handling the cigars. I
Yep.
mean, I was fully licensed in everything that
Yeah.
I needed to do, but in handling that end, as opposed to doing hard hitting current
Yes.
affairs.
Right.
So right around, I started the website, and I started moving more into selling Carlos's product. His English
Right.
is not so good, but he
Right.
has a fantastic product. And he's
Yes.
not the only one
Right.
in the Tampa Bay area who has this skill, who doesn't want to be stuck in a factory somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing against them. They do good work, I hear. He's been so consistent and so good, and he's such a close member of the family. So I got to know more about his story.
Right.
And when you're ready, we'll go into the story of how he got to the United States.
Right.
It just is absolutely inspiring. So anyway, I decided to give the big old double bird to media
Right.
and go full time into this business.
Right.
Launched a couple of websites, spent my time building that business model. And now I'm riding around in what I call my pirate cigar vessel, dressed as a pirate, 365 days a year. I can do it whenever I want. It doesn't have to be Gasparilla.
Right.
And just having fun.
Yeah. So to be honest, right. After I got off the phone when you talked to her, I'm like going, I just can't see her riding around in a pirate outfit on a boat. I just don't picture that. And then I started stalking you.
Good.
And I'm
I
like
being stalked.
Well, she can pull that look off. Hey, you can pull the look off, which is amazing. And then she's got a great product. Oh, that's a win-win. And you have fun doing it.
Yes.
Because I know me and you that media world will it will kill you.
It's the reason
Literally.
why I was having severe health issues.
Yep.
I've always had health issues. From when I was 14, I can remember. I've always had something going on. But right around that time period, I was getting diagnosed with more and more and more.
I remember all. Yeah.
And you're going to need to be on this medication and this medication for the rest of your life.
No.
And I changed a lot of things.
Right.
And when you start doing that kind of introspection and you hit that point where you go, you know what? My body has the ability to heal itself.
Right.
I have the ability to control my internal environment. And part of that is relieving stress,
Right.
letting go of junk, not spending all your time in stress and anxiety.
Right.
And how can you not when you're in media where if it bleeds, it leads?
Yep.
And that's your day.
And that, yeah. And it's a grind, and it's it's soul sucking.
It is.
And that's why that's why I kind of got out of that world. And I'm like, I'll never get out of media because it's what I do.
Well,
but this is my own media.
It's one thing to be informational.
Yes.
It's another thing to be confrontational.
Yes.
To be looking for the drama, to be looking for.
Always trying to poke that bear.
Yeah. There's a problem.
get a
There's a problem.
story.
There's a problem.
Right.
There isn't a problem.
Sky's falling.
No problem. Everything is good.
Yeah. No, just balloons.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that's funny.
It's a balloon. What a hilarious thing. Have we not seen this show before?
Right. We have actually, haven't we? Yeah. Right. So then you got into, the cigar world is, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but for a lady is kind of hard to get into.
Not anymore, I don't think.
So
There
it's
are
opened
some
up
ladies
better.
that are definitely, absolutely.
Okay.
I think that it is interesting to me that so much of the media, your typical magazines, your
Right.
typical advertisements that you see, the way people think that they need to promote a cigar is a picture of a woman
Holding a cigar.
making that face
Yep.
like she's in that absolute moment of private
right.
pleasure.
Yep.
With this phallic symbol, and it's absolutely absurd.
Right.
Nobody needs that anymore.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, I want to start a new ad campaign that's going to have men with that look on their face holding their cigar, and the women looking businesslike and angry. Because the dudes are always like bearded, like you, bald bearded, and I'm angry,
we're
I
all
have a
like,
cigar. And the women are all, ah. So
Right.
yeah, no, I'm going to switch that role.
Switch the role.
But if you stop looking at it that way,
Yeah.
that a cigar is a cigar. Women smoke cigarettes, women vape, women use nicotine just as much as men do.
Right.
Nicotine, one of two legal substances that stimulate the frontal lobe of the brain.
Right.
Caffeine, nicotine. So I am not against it, obviously,
Right.
but women crave it just as much as men do nowadays. We're all overstimulated.
Yeah.
True, but then we're taking downers,
Yep.
smoking weed, CBD, vaping, whatever we're doing to try and help us relax. But then there's that thing that helps that frontal lobe
Yep.
kick. So we go after it. And
Right.
so Starbucks is huge. This is that time though. Things are different now. Okay, how many genders do we have?
Right. Yeah.
So it's not even fair to say that 40% of my audience is female.
Right.
I just have all kinds that come up to my vessel and want a cigar.
Give me a cigar.
And I am so anti-sweet tip cigar, the sweet ones, the flavored ones, the cherry, the grape,
I don't
the this
like,
and this.
no.
But I had to start having them with me because
Okay.
I had so many big, burly, bearded, bike riding men that came up to me and went, "Do you have anything in a grape?"
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah. That's when you
Okay.
go, yeah, we don't make grape leaf cigars. Sorry.
stereotypes are what they are.
Right.
So when I'm at events, I'll carry what I think the clients are going to enjoy.
Right.
I'm not a total cigar snob myself.
Right.
I'm the other direction.
So I don't like those types of flavors, the grape, the strawberry, the blah, blah, blah. But I like a vanilla or a spice, not spice as in spice, like you have one here, like a spice rum. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
because that goes good with a nice glass of Captain Morgan's, or
Yeah.
you can get a nice spiced rum, even a Goslin's black rum. Oh,
I haven't tried that one.
and
I'm a Sailor Jerry girl.
oh well, Sailor Jerry's good too. I'm not putting it down, but
Kind of.
the Goslin's are really like a darker rum, and if you get a nice cigar, so good together.
Right.
So good together.
Which is when I cure the cigars, I cure them myself. So I take Carlos's cigars and I went, okay, I'm smoking the cigar. What does it remind me of? And for me, I typically have a Connecticut in the morning with coffee, with espresso.
Right.
So I decided to go with curing those Nicaraguan, the really light Connecticut's in espresso coffee with dark chocolate bitters. And it just brings out, so I'm curing it.
Right.
I'm not dipping it.
Right.
I'm not putting sugar on it or a sweet tip or rubbing anything on it. I'm just curing it in it for months. And then it just adds to, it doesn't cover, it just enhances the flavor
Right.
the cigar already has.
Right.
So I did the same thing with the Habanos by going with the spiced rum and some cinnamon and some honey. It just enhances what the cigar already brings to the table
Right.
as opposed to.
Well, let's take
making
some
a
of these
different
out.
flavor.
I'll let you show everybody at home what they look like.
Well, they just look like cigars, and that's
know,
the
but-
thing. You can't. When you have cigars that are unbanded, these are naked.
Okay. Yeah.
So naked, and they have a nice ash. So these.
Are they a long burner or short burners?
Well, I don't know what you mean by long burn or short burn.
So I've had cigars in the past that you don't have to always puff on to keep them lit. They're long burners. So
That really depends on the weather.
Oh, I did not know that.
So if outside it's extra humid, you're going
Right.
to have issues with keeping your cap lit sometimes, and you'll have to keep working your cigar. And sometimes they'll just keep going and going and going. It just depends on that humidity.
I did
So
not
you try
know
to keep
that.
your cigars at the right humidity, but
Right.
what's the humidity like outside? How cold is it? How hot is it?
Right.
And it's Florida. We don't know what to expect from one minute
Day
to
to
the other.
day, right.
I do love the fact that when I'm sending cigars from here, 80 degrees, ridiculous humidity, to
Right.
Chicago, polar vortex,
Right.
and they whip it out of the box and they want to run outside and smoke it right away. You're like, you got to give it a minute to get used to it.
Yeah, it's got a temper.
It's not ready for that
Right, right.
crisp, cold air yet.
Yeah. You're going to make it shrivel up.
You need to
And
dry,
go,
dry box it just a minute. So this is not all that I have, but
Right.
I brought you some cigars and I picked a sample.
And then you did good because everyone you have in there. So I'm already going. Cannot wait for that one. Cannot wait for that. Cannot wait for that one.
These designs
Oh, I love
that
it.
he gets me,
Yeah.
and this one being football, but he doesn't call it football. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
American football.
Yeah. American football.
And it's something that there are certain companies that with the footballs right around the big game that we have coming up.
I know
this
the big
Sunday.
game.
Watch what you say.
Yeah.
We're not going to pay for that kind of
Right,
advertising.
right, exactly.
So with the big game coming up, they put out a set that, with the different teams on it that are going
Right.
to, and they charge $350, $400 for a box of 20.
Yep.
These don't have to cost that much. You can just get them, but they don't have a band on them.
Right.
They're not anybody special. And
Well,
they're
he's special,
fresh.
but-
They're fresh, and it's a Habano Nicaraguan filler, and it's a nice cigar. I also brought you two different kinds of Connecticut's because I had a feeling just from looking at you that you liked a lighter cigar.
I do like a lighter cigar. I don't like the ones, and I call the ones that choke me.
Yeah.
Those are just not my favorites.
Well-
they taste good, but they choke me, and I'm just not interested. Yeah. I lose that, but I love a light cigar.
Maybe you should drink more when you're smoking cigars. I'm kidding. They don't have to choke you.
You hear that,
A
folks?
fresh-
I'm going to start drinking more. A professional told me to drink more, and you listen to the professionals.
Isn't that what you do? This one that I still have wrapped in the paper, and you can unwrap this as soon as you get it home to your humidor. This is
Okay.
the 3-leaf blend.
Okay.
So this is the one it's a Dominican leaf, a Cuban seed grown in the Dominican, and
Okay.
a Nicaraguan leaf. So with those three different leaves he's blended together, that's a Connecticut. It's a Connecticut with more flavor. It's
Okay.
going to be a little stronger than your light.
And
like
those are, and you call them Connecticut because they're actually grown in Connecticut.
Well, no, I call them Connecticut because the cap on the outside is the Connecticut leaf.
Connecticut leaf,
the nice light leaf, and then the inside is a mild filler.
Nice.
Compared to the Habano, which is more of a medium, and then your Maduros, which are those strong. And that's what I typically smoke.
Lets you know it's
at
a
night
cigar.
when I'm hanging out.
Right.
Yes. So the curing cigars, those are mine. I do those, but I take Carlos's stuff and I cure it. And I'll do it with different sizes and stuff. And I have right now a fantastic client who orders where is it? Oh, there's the pictures of all the different kinds of designs. I have a client who orders a 70 gauge.
Okay.
It's about that big around.
Right.
Got that on camera?
That big around.
70 gauge Maduro. And he has me cure them in bourbon.
Okay.
And they have to cure for about 3 months. And he orders them bundles at a time.
Now, when you say cure, is that a steam cure or are they literally in the bourbon?
Not in the bourbon.
No.
No, it's just surrounding it.
Okay.
It's in the environment. And we've done the infusion where I had a client, a whiskey company that had contacted me and they wanted a couple hundred cigars and they wanted them infused with their American Barrel whiskey.
Barrel, okay.
It's really smooth.
Really?
And
okay.
So you have to treat the leaves with the bourbon and treat it and dry them and treat it and dry them and treat it and then roll the cigars and then let them cure and then they're ready to go. Carlos was like, you know what? I don't ever want to do this again.
You're right. Way too much work.
He said it in Spanish, and my husband went, "Yeah, no,
we're not doing that anymore."
No, but this is a different process, so it doesn't insult the flavor of the cigar.
Yeah, I've always wondered now, and I always look at the perspective of a newbie who has. When you say, it's soaked in, or it's, they're like, wow, they just take the cigar and soak it in there. And
and there are some people who do that. Some people love to dip their cigars. They'll dip it in cognac or dip it in honey.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that. I've always understood it that, it's in the box and there's a sniffer of brandy or a sniffer of whiskey. And then the box is locked down and it's pulled and, the air comes out of it. And next thing you know, it's all infused.
Well, it does. That is one way to do it. It takes longer, but yeah. Yeah. I have a system. I'm never going to tell.
Get the system. Using the system. So let's talk about what you're doing with Pirate Cigar.
Well, piratecigar.com. Such an unbelievable accident. So excited that was available.
Right.
Thank you.
When you said that, I'm like,
all right. It's Pirates. It's Tampa Bay. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
So I've just been trying to get the idea out there that you can have a good cigar and it doesn't have to be super expensive. And the more you order, the cheaper it's going to get.
Right.
It's kind of the everyman cigar idea, but it doesn't have to be something that you're buying from, let's say, a smoke shop on the corner that is maybe not properly maintained.
Right.
Don't know how long it's been in storage. They're dry. My dad lived in middle of nowhere, Missouri, and he'd go to the smoke shop there. There was like 2 places you could buy cigars. And he's like, I swear I was smoking alfalfa. It was terrible. Yeah. So I would send him cigars every couple of weeks. He truly appreciated it. Actually, I have to send some to the VFW. This is just getting the idea across that anybody can smoke a good, fresh Tampa Bay cigar. And we need them more around the United States. We need to give more work to these beautiful people who make these cigars and have the skill.
It's a lot of work.
And they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to teach me how to roll someday.
I don't have time. You're old enough and can retain it. Yeah.
We've talked about it. I've watched him roll. I've had him at events with me where he's rolling for clients, and I just haven't had time. I've got all the bits. I've got a box of tobacco. This big.
Right.
And I've got the molds and everything. Just haven't had time. Yeah. None of these cigars have touched my nubile thighs.
Okay. Oh, so are you working all events, or are you kind of particular where you're going to go now? Because I remember when we were talking on the phone, I'm like, oh my God, because the Renfest is in, you're like, no, that's 2 weeks of every single day.
Right. So
and
originally,
I bought cigars there.
I have too, and was not happy. It depends. I'm sure other people have had different experiences. Anecdotally, I haven't enjoyed the cigars I got at a Ren Fest.
Right.
But do I want to be? Yeah. Is it a commitment that takes me away from anything else I'd be able to do? Absolutely.
Right.
Which leads to the point of the next model of the business, which is more pirate vessels on the road and people being able to do what they want with them.
Nice.
So if Mark or Bob or Annie all want to have, and they want to be at a Renaissance festival somewhere for 2 weeks, go for it.
Go for it.
I'm not above it.
Right.
I love the picture that's on my vessel of me because I'm the face of the brand.
Yep.
I don't know how I let anybody talk me into that.
They did good.
No,
I like it.
It's still really weird
It is weird.
because anybody who lives in my neighborhood or drives through my neighborhood,
Knows what you look like.
they know who I am.
Yeah.
But the picture was taken at Renaissance Festival 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, now when I go, we go to the one in it's in Dade City now. It got moved.
Right. It was the Mosey. And we used to go to Mosey.
Yes.
So we were in Dade City the first year that the last 2 years that they had moved it there.
Right.
Such a long drive for us.
Yeah. See, for us, it's 35 minutes, and I'm there. And
Any excuse
get
to
your-
dress like a pirate, bro. I'm there.
right.
I'm there for multiple days.
Yep.
And they had this band called the Body Boys when they would
Yes.
have their pirate week.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah. The lady there, I see her every year. I always get the Captain Morgan cigar because it's got that spiced rum in it, and it tastes good. And it's for me. I guess it's the right time of year because it's a long burner. I don't have to sit there and have to work it all the time.
Well, like I said, I didn't have a good experience.
Right.
What I think was, and this is something that you always have to work with, the cigars got hot and they got dry.
Yep.
So it made it less enjoyable.
Right. Yeah. It'll have a little bitter backbite on it.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm very much the turnover because of the fact that Carlos and I mean, we're minutes away from each other, and I work with him and I work with his son. You okay there?
Yep, I'm good.
You need some of my water?
No, probably.
You're gonna croak. Don't try to be sneaky about the cough. We're just going to talk about the cough for the next 5 minutes. So you need to get that.
Thanks.
So the idea is that I don't have to have a bunch of cigars sitting around
Right.
to maintain, to make sure that they stay the proper temperature and humidity. I can get fresh cigars regularly as I need them, as ordered. And when I go out to the events, the vessel is built so that it has a humidor inside of it.
I was getting ready to ask, how do you keep them
So
right?
all I do, and I bring it home and I plug it in just like you plug in a leaf blower outside and just leave it run. And it maintains, and I keep it the right temperature. The humidity is not an issue, and keep them fresh. And they sell, and they sell, and they sell. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and that affects how it burns.
So we were showing online there the whole selection of the cigars, and I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at the prices. I'm like, that's really good.
Oh.
I mean, because there's sometimes I bought cigars and I'm like, I should have never paid what I paid for this thing. It's just not worth it.
I am still, I'm still fiddling with my price point, and here's why. I know what I pay for them.
Right.
I know how I value Carlos's work and his people. I know there's a certain profit margin expectation to keep a business running. But I also know that if the price is too low, certain people don't appreciate it.
They think it's too cheap.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I was told that a lot.
Right.
And what I've done now is I've just found this beautiful medium point where I can compensate him more and I can invest someday in more vessels.
That's awesome.
So that I can
spread
the cigar.
If I'm watching this at home, and there's a lot of people watching this at home, and I say, hey, look, I want to do that.
It's time for a bathroom break.
Do they reach out to you on your website or call you and go, hey, I kind of want to jump on board?
I know he's like, see how he put that website up there? That thing right there?
Amazing thing.
And then there's also this, it'll roll through again, it'll show the phone number.
Right.
That's my cell phone.
Okay.
Just text me or call me.
Putting your cell phone out there?
I have two phones. I look like a drug dealer in the grocery store.
Yeah,
with this phone and this phone.
Oh, if you got two, you are a drug dealer. Give me some of that cigar. Give me some of that cigar.
The drug of nicotine.
It is,
so,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's so so handled and moderated and.
So where are you going to be? Where are you going to be local? We got about a minute left.
Okay, so tomorrow, where's that place?
Gulfview Mall.
What is it? Saturday.
Gulfview Mall?
Yeah, Gulfview Mall.
Okay.
The vessel will be at the Gulfview Mall, and I am praying for good weather.
Right.
Perfect weather for people to come out and get a cigar.
Right.
And Pirate Mark will be there. And then I will be at the Whiskey Wings of Roosevelt, raising funds for fallen law enforcement officers' families with Four Kings Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club.
Great cause.
It's a motorcycle and Jeep night, so come on out. Bring your Jeep.
Well, if you got Jeep guys there, you better have a lot of cigars. Because when those crews show up, they show up by the hundreds.
We'll have fun. We didn't even get to talk about Carlos's story. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2.
We're going to have to buy part 2. I love part 2s. Those are awesome. All right. So again, if they want to order, they can go on the website.
Yep.
Right. And they can get from you and you'll send them out to them. And if they go, hey, Jennifer, I want to do this. You can sit there and talk to them about, well, we can build you a trailer.
All we got to do is get together and meet.
There
I
you
like to
go.
talk to people face to face.
I hate phones and I hate Zoom. Oh my God. If one more Zoom, I'm going to croak. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to die.
My Zoom is permanently broken.
Atta girl. So anyway, everybody, thank you for watching. We appreciate it. You know what? If you want to get a cigar, there's a person to reach out to. She'll take good care of you. See everybody next week on Open for Business. Thank you.